Welcome to the Network Table Podcast. Here's your host, Luke Van Every.
What's up, everybody? My name is Luke Van Every, and welcome to the Network Table Podcast, episode 3. I'm super excited today. You've seen me on his podcast. I'm here with Steve from Growthlab Financial, and we're going to get to know him. Steve, what's going on?
Cool. Doing well, Luke. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I want to first thank you so much. You've become a great friend and a great colleague. Growthlab has been really great to me since, we launched True Compare PEO, and I'm excited to continue the relationship. But for our listeners, tell us a little bit about Growthlab and what you guys do and how you guys help.
Sure. So at Growthlab, we are a finance as a service company. And as a service, things have kind of come into the fore. And I would not have described Growthlab as a finance as a service company 4, 5, 6 years ago when we launched it. But that really is what we had from day one wanted to build Growthlab into. And now we truly do have that full finance as a service offering for small businesses, startups, emerging growth companies that know that their best use of time is working on their business, not working in their business. And they can outsource things, whether that's HR, such as going to a PEO. And I think one of my last quotes, Luke, last time you were on the podcast was, I will never, and it got me into hot water with some other people. I will never go to a PEO without going through a PEO broker because the market is challenging. But we have built Growthlab into a finance as a service company, and so the company can outsource whether that's whatever piece of the finance and accounting value stream that they need support with, whether that's simply bookkeeping, whether it's controllership, planning, budgeting, 5-year forecasting, cash flow planning. All of that stuff is what we build our team and our service to solve for.
That's fantastic. And you guys do a fantastic job putting the information out there. I'm constantly following you on LinkedIn. The posts are fantastic. The graphics, the information, it's there. Talk to us about the Rawtake, because your podcast is taking off. I've been on it twice. One as a W-2 employee, and then most recently as a founder. Had a great time both times. Got you into a little water, but tell us about it, because I'm a big fan of it, and I think it's extremely valuable to CEOs.
I appreciate that. And for all the listeners, speaking of Luke's character, the first time I think we had you on, you were a W-2 employee at a PEO, and we just moved ourselves at Growthlab to a PEO. And I had to tell Luke on live on the podcast that it wasn't his company, and so he's still a friend and still a good partner. So it speaks to his character. What was the question? Sorry.
Tell us about the podcast, and for everyone, that was
Rawtake for CEOs. Yeah,
that was the trigger. As soon as I lost to another company, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bring all the companies to Steve, and so I don't lose them next time. But what was the thought process behind it? What was the day like? Hey, let's do this podcast thing, and let's do it correctly. You guys, your setup is second to none. I love it.
Oh, thank you. So it wasn't just a snapshot in time a day. Actually, yesterday when we recorded, Dan and I, it was pretty much the first anniversary of us kind of getting started with this. And it was not a podcast at the time. We got started with, Luke, your point is like we've been putting content out there. Yeah. When COVID hit last year, we completely kind of refocused our team and our marketing team and even some of our production team to focus on content and using that as our marketing, because we knew that we could not rely on anybody new buying services from us for 3, 6, 12 months. We didn't know at the time, right? Everything was going through chaos, but we knew we wanted to keep all our people engaged, busy, and so we refocused our marketing team to content. And it was, as everybody remembers or even forgets sometimes, I feel like people are forgetting what it was like 12 months ago. It was all about PPP and just everything was changing with every 12 hours. And we just got out there and started talking about new developments every day, twice a day sometimes. And we had different venues, different ways we were doing it, office hours, open Zooms, But basically, Luke, to get to the point, all of that kind of boiled down into the Rawtake for CEOs podcast. When we kind of things settled, we said, what do we want to keep? What do we want this to boil down into? And it for us, it came to, the Rawtake for CEOs, which is our podcast that we try to do weekly. Sometimes we're not 100%, but we try to give companies, CEOs of small businesses, venture-backed businesses, our raw take about what's important for them. And the name even kind of came out of what we did during COVID, which was just talking about what was happening.
I love it. I'm a big fan, and thank you again for allowing me to be on it. Before we go back, Steve, what is your specific role at Growthlab?
So with any company that you're trying to grow, you wear many different hats as you grow the company. But Dan Gertrudes and I founded Growthlab 6+ years ago, and between the two of us, we know that we need to. First of all, I would never start a business without a co-founder or a strong partner network like you're doing, Luke, because you need people to lean on. You need people to rely on, bounce ideas off of, and leverage strengths and weaknesses. And that's a big part of how we've been able to execute is leveraging each other's strengths and weaknesses. Right now, where is my focus? My focus is on the FP&A team, the financial planning and analysis team.
Very nice.
That is a team that has grown over the last 2 years, and that team supports our customers with anything related to planning, call it light CFO work. Dan and I and a few others have been the CFOs for our customers, and we're trying to productize what we do so that our team can deliver that more consistently, more on a regular cadence. The same thing our accounting team does for the bookkeeping. That rigor and cadence, that rigor and cadence is almost what our customers pay us for.
Beautiful. I love that. So I'm sure when you were a young child, you're like, I'm going to be a finance guy, right? So that's the whole story. This is what you always wanted to do, right?
When I was a kid, I thought even up through college, I was a pre-med major.
Wow.
I actually took the MCATs, the medical school admission test, right? Was doing the med school interviews before I decided to ditch all that and take a different angle. So that's I did not think I would be in this world, and I'm pumped for my journey, but it was definitely not one that started on day one with a defined endpoint.
So we bail on med school. Which is, what's the next step after that? Where do we go right after college? What was your first job right out of college?
My first job right out of college was actually a researcher in a wet lab at Harvard, Harvard University. Great place to be from, as everybody always says. And I was doing cancer research. I was in the hospitals. I was in the lab, and one of the benefits of working at Harvard is you can take classes for cheap. And so I did that. And I found I was a lot more stoked about business and using business as a change agent than I was about medicine. And so I did drop all those med school applications, stopped doing interviews, and picked up business school applications and kind of changed. I did a career change before I started my career, and went back to Brandeis University, got an MBA, and coming out of there, launched into the startup world.
So what was it right in, what was after that? Right into the startup world. Where were you going right after that?
Yeah, as part of the startup, so I joined a founder, started a business, actually a customer of ours now. But what that really taught me was I really enjoyed the helping businesses grow. And even today, if you look at Dan, he's the visionary. I'm more the executor, and we both help each other stretch in those areas. But at that time, my co-founder was the visionary, and I was the executor. And we grew the business. But really, it was the ops finance side of raising capital, making sure we're using that, making sure we're reporting in on that. It's all the stuff that we preach to our customers today. that I was doing and making possible at SR Inc. And that kind of gave me the bug for what we're doing today. And again, I wouldn't have been able to articulate it at that point in time. But kind of coming out of there, I helped a few other businesses in the Boston area, needed some entrepreneurial punch in the arm, helped them kind of do that. And then punched a little too hard once and got myself fired, which I think is a great experience for anybody and everybody at some point in life. Get yourself fired. So I got fired, met Dan, and the rest is history. Now Dan and I were both kind of attacking the same market, startups, to help them grow, take that idea that they have and foster it, tell your story, right? And so we joined forces, started Growthlab. And
so how did you meet Dan though?
So yeah, Luke, same way that I'm going to meet the next person through you, that next customer. It's all about networking, right? So we both have a great friend of the firm, Steve Snyder at Gesmer, great law firm. Steve's a connector, right? And he the events that you and we have put on. As referral sources, bringing customers together to not to sell them, but to introduce them to other service providers that in the startup world can be helpful, right? We got that idea straight from Steve Snyder. And so Dan and I met at one of his events over in South Boston, and we talked that night, and Dan followed up a couple days later, and we started talking. There's tons of stories there. I've talked and written and other things about how to find a business partner, or how to select a business partner. Some of it comes down to strategy. Some of it comes down to just being in the right place at the right time.
That's incredible. I preach all the time that networking. I've made a living off of networking, and we could talk about the bad in 2020 all day, right? We could sit here for days and talk about the bad, but the good that came out of it is what we're doing right now. We're sitting in the same room, and I've made it a real initiative to network across the country. And in the 5 years in New York, I was New York. This is it. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm networking. Now I'm speaking to people in Indianapolis and South Carolina, Arizona, California. And I'm realizing, man, there are amazing people all over the country. It's like anything else. Put the time in, meet somebody new every day, and you never know, you might find your next partner and start an amazing company called Growthlab Financial. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, it is all about the networking, and as the audience develops here, I expect it's going to be startup, it's going to be entrepreneurs. All of us know the value of networking, right? But we always have to be reminded as well. We've put a lot of time into, just as you have, to finding people that are like-minded, people that you enjoy working with, other service providers or product providers, somebody that's going to touch the same customer, but not overlap in services, or not overlap 100%, so that you can refer customers over there. I mean, we never, we don't exchange money, right? That's not the value that we're exchanging as referral sources. It's all about that trust and knowing that if I send somebody your way, you're going to take care of them.
Take care of the client. That's what we ask out of our ecosystem, is take care of the client. Make me look like a rock star.
That's right.
Take care of the client, and we'll help them succeed. That's it. I love that. So, Steve, back to 2020, we could talk about the bad. What is one thing out of 2020 that made you better or made you see in a different light? It can be a personal, it can be a business thing. What was one good thing you took out of 2020?
Good question. So as a business, we really found our stride in marketing, and what the market was looking for, how to put yourselves in. It helped because everybody was going through the same thing, right? It's harder when you have like 5 different target customers, and where are they at in their journey, right? Everybody's on a roller coaster, right? In small business sometimes, right? You have peaks and you have troughs, right? The good thing about 2020 was that everybody was like peaking and troughing, especially at the beginning, together, right? And you could build your story and help our team understand, how do we speak to the customer? Where are they at in their journey, right? How do we need to, what do they need right now, right? So that we can put content together, not to sell our services, but to let them get value out of what we can provide. And then, 6, 12, 2 years later, they will come to us when they need a service because they got value out of that. So as a business, I think that was a big thing. I mean, we worked long and hard to make sure that our whole team could stick together, and that was a big thing for us. We're a small business, but we got 20 people, and we kept everybody at the table, kept them there. We said we were going to get together for the August summer cookout. Never could happen, but we were all still there, and that was a big triumph for us, a big positive for us. For me personally, it definitely stretched me in a different way, and as a business owner and business partner, I'd say it definitely stretched me, challenged me to learn more about managing customers and managing people, managing relationships. I mean, we are a people business, right? I've got, without my team, I have no business. Without my customers, I have no business, right? Navigating those relationships and continuing to keep them engaged on both sides of that equation was something that I've learned a lot over the last 12 months.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And your team is great. I haven't met all of them, but John, Allison, all of them. I always have such a good time emailing back and forth with them and talking to them. And I can only imagine just the way they treat me, and they've got to be treating the customers even better than that. You have a fantastic team, and I know that everyone that they get to touch is getting taken care of. That's great, but I'm going to put you on the spot. If we're having a cookout in August, I'm coming.
Fantastic.
So now it's booked. It's there. Now you can't take it back. I will be driving from DC up to Boston for the August.
We better make it damn good, right? No, we've had some good ones over the years, man. Dan is a Rhode Islander through and through. One of our first ones, we had oysters. One of our friends is a oyster farmer, so got some dang good oysters.
East Coast oysters for life. I said it. East Coast oysters are better than West Coast. I said it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it. My son started eating oysters on Thanksgiving. Got them from this friend. Got like a bunch of oysters, and I enjoy them. But I did not think he would. And 10 years old, he just downed them.
I love it. Oh, Steve, this has been fantastic. I can't thank you enough for your friendship, your colleagueness, and coming on and taking some time with us. For everyone, how do we get a hold of Growthlab? What's the best way to interact with you? Tell us how we can get over there to you.
Yeah, growthlabfinancial.com. It is not plural. It's not Growth Labs. It's just growthlabfinancial.com. Best place to look for us, see what we do. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Our team loves to engage. So you find your favorite platform, look us up at Growthlab, or find our handle from our website. That's the best place to reach out to us. But thanks so much, Luke. I love what you're doing. Love how you're building this. For all your listeners, figuring out what your HR strategy is super important, and having a PEO is a excellent way to outsource some of the responsibility and honestly some of the risk of HR. And Luke can tell me what I said wrong there, but in terms of whether that outsources any of the risk, but it is a great thing that we've looked at with a lot of our customers, ourselves even, and have made that move. But Luke walked me through his questions he asked new customers, and even that is helpful to help you analyze, diagnose what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are as a business on the HR payroll side of things.
Thank you for that.
I love how you're building it. Keep it up, man.
Thank you so much. We got a pretty big announcement coming up soon that we're going global, but we're going to pause that one there. Excited about that.
Very cool. Congrats.
Steve, thank you so much. Everyone, make sure to check out the Rawtake for CEOs. It's fantastic. Steve, thank you so much. and I really look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Luke. Pleasure.
That was awesome. It was great.
For more information, please visit truecompare.peo.com.